Imagine this. You're walking through the woods. It's quiet. Birds are chirping. Leaves are rustling. And then you hear it. It's the low growl of a bear somewhere in the distance. You don't see it, but you know it's there. And in that moment, you understand something so deeply human. Power doesn't always need to be loud to be respected. Sometimes the presence of power is more effective than even the display of power. I was listening to a podcast the other day where they were talking about a moment in American foreign policy. The U.S. had flexed a bit, not in a full show of dominance, but just enough to say, hey, we can do more, and we're choosing not to. And that show of strength, that controlled demonstration of power, was all it took. The message was clear. No need for a prolonged conflict, no need to go any further. They had made their point, and everyone knew what the full force could look like if it had to. And that struck me. Because the same idea, this idea of showing strength without needing to use all of it, applies to a lot of forms of leadership. When you're leading a nation, a business, a team, or even just yourself through a tough season of life. There's a quote you've probably heard before. Speak softly and carry a big stick. It's often misunderstood as being aggressive, but it's not about shouting or violence. It's often about restraint. It's about presence. It's about knowing you have the power to do more, but choosing not to. Not at least until it's necessary. You see, the real mark of strength, in my opinion, isn't constant action. It's control. It's the ability to hold your power with an open hand, not a clenched fist. But here's the catch. And maybe it's the part we don't talk about enough. Sometimes you do have to show your strength. You do have to show your power. Not to dominate, not to destroy, but to remind people, and sometimes to remind yourself, that the strength is there. Because in today's culture, especially in leadership, we're taught that humility is everything. And I agree, humility matters. But sometimes we confuse humility with hiding, with shrinking, with pretending we don't have power in order to make others comfortable. But here's what I believe. Humble leaders don't deny their strength. They steward it. They don't wield power recklessly, but they don't bury it either. Sometimes the bear has to growl, even if it's just once, just loud enough for the forest to remember who they're dealing with. Not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. And the same goes with you. You have strength, you have influence, you have abilities that might even scare you at times. And if you're always trying to keep the peace, always avoiding conflict, always minimizing your voice, ask yourself, is it really peace? Or are you giving into fear? Because the world doesn't just need quiet voices. It needs the confident ones, the measured ones, voices that speak softly, yes, but carry the kind of truth and power that can shift things. So here's my challenge to you. Hold your power with a loose hand, not because you're weak, because you're strong enough to choose when to use it. Don't be afraid to flex, not to dominate, but to demonstrate. Because sometimes people need to see the muscle before they believe the message. And when they know what you're capable of, when they truly know, you won't have to raise your voice. You won't have to prove anything, ever again. You'll speak softly, and they'll listen.